What would you do if someone ripped out your toenails one by one? Would you cry, scream, pass out? Well, Odette Sansom didn't. She treated it like it was a bad pedicure day and said, I have nothing to say. With such legendary stubbornness, it's what drove the Gestapo absolutely crazy. Hi, I'm Teresa, the host of the Unhinged History podcast, and I'm going to tell you all about the most decorated spy of World War II, Odette Sansom. So meet the woman who turned being difficult into an absolute art form. And get this, she did this because her whole career started off because she sent photos of herself and her brother on the coast of France to the War Office instead of the Admiralty. Now, Odette is born in France, and her early life begins like this rather serious, unfortunate events because her dad dies in World War I. She goes blind for a couple of years, spends a couple of months bedridden, but apparently this was just her warm-up routine for becoming the most decorated spy of World War II, and I bet you've never heard of her. In 1942, she accidentally starts her spy career by sending those photos to the War Office, to the Admiralty, because the British government was trying to get an understanding of the coastline. And the British government is like, hey, nice photos. You speak French natively. Want to spy? And she just goes, yeah, sure. Let me drop off my kids at a convent real quick and I'll be right there. So she joins the SOE, and her trainers basically write that she's too stubborn, won't admit that she's wrong. And that's on her report card. Spoiler alert, this character flaw ends up saving her life and others. Her first mission, real casual stuff like running messages through Yahtzee-occupied France, where female couriers had the second highest fatality rate among the Allies. Just typical working mom things. But this is where things get absolutely wild. Because after getting caught by the Gestapo, Odette pulls the biggest Uno reverse card you've ever seen. Because as they're torturing her, trying to get information about her commander, Peter Churchill, no relation to Winston, she's like, actually, I'm the boss. He's just my himbo assistant. The Gestapo, they kind of buy it. So during that bad pedicure day, she ends up just kind of doing her stuff. She says that I have nothing to say so much. She's a broken record. They view her as a bad conversationalist and they just kind of put her in a dark hole. Meanwhile, Odette just kind of like rolls with it like this is an everyday thing. They bring her to Ravensbrück concentration camp, and if you know, you know, they throw her in a pitch black cell for 3 months and they crank up the heat like it's some sort of twisted sauna as she's being put on starvation rations. And all of this is while she's dealing with a shattered vertebrae from when she fell down a mountain and didn't tell anybody that she was hurt. By the way, she just brushed it off like it was a paper cut. Meanwhile, the camp commandant, French Sharon, he realizes that the war is going to hell in a sandbasket, and he decides to use her as his get-a-jail-free card when the Allies arrive. So he drives her to the American lines, probably thinking that he's so clever, and Odette actually accepts his surrender and his pew-pew. He ends up trying to say about how good he was and how amazing he and kind and loving, and just look at Odette, I brought her to you. She ends up testifying against him at the Nuremberg trials, just like the queen that she absolutely is. After the war, she collects more medals than Christmas trees have ornaments, and she becomes the first woman to receive a George Cross. And she decides to list her occupation as housewife because why not? So the next time somebody tells you that you're too stubborn, just remember that somewhere in history, Odette Sansom turned being a hard-headed woman into an absolute art form and saved countless lives while doing it. Now, that's just what I call a career highlight. If you want to hear more, you're going to have to listen to the most recent episode of Unhinged History, link in bio.